A stimulus showdown, a battle brewing in the legislature, but Alaska Governor Sarah Palin will not be around for any of it. In our third story, the governor has two faces. More drama in Juneau as Palin is expected to make her way to Evansville, Indiana this week to speak at the Vanderburgh County Right to Life dinner. But in order to do so, Palin will miss a debate in Alaska over the federal stimulus money. Alaska lawmakers want to take the stim. Palin has threatened to reject parts of it. One Alaska Republican noted, there are some concerns in the Capitol about the focus of our chief executive because she's taken a speaking engagement in Indiana for a 36-hour period with only 72 hours left in the legislative session. Palin answered her critics at a media availability at her office in Juneau.
I'll be gone for 1 day. I already have been on record with lawmakers on this. I told lawmakers, you know what, please don't make me feel that I have to ask you permission, lawmakers, to leave the capital city.
Perhaps that answer would suffice if she hadn't already canceled her appearance at the GOP Senate-House dinner earlier this year, citing state business. In any case, Alaska Republicans are going a step further and have remarked to the Juneau Empire newspaper that even when Palin is around, she's not very involved, even when it comes to supporting her own bills. Palin fired back, explaining it's tough to judge lawmakers' quote, happiness quotient.
We have a very good working relationship as far as we know with lawmakers. Our door is always open. We meet with them every single day. We're meeting with lawmakers.
Maybe that, too, would have been okay had Palin actually shown up to a legislative meeting her office scheduled regarding the federal stimulus money last month. Palin then commented on her request for Democratic Senator Mark Begich to step down. Earlier this month, after charges were dropped against former Senator Ted Stevens, the Alaska Republican Party called for Begich's resignation. When asked about the state GOP's request, Palin replied, I absolutely agree. She's backtracking on that one, too.
I didn't call for Begich to step down either. I said I absolutely agree that Alaskans deserve a fair, untainted election for their United States Senate seat.
Joining us now from Anchorage, political commentator and contributor to Huffington Post, Shannon Moore. And Shannon, good evening.
Good evening, David.
So Governor Palin doesn't want Mark Begich to resign, but feels a fair election is in order. Which is it? And what about the last election wasn't fair?
That's interesting, which is it? It's about every other day something changes. And as far as the last election, it was unfortunate, I guess, in some respects, that the DOJ really abused their power with that. And I think that, the Obama administration has done the right thing in throwing out the conviction of Ted Stevens. But it doesn't mean that the things that Ted Stevens said that, Ted Stevens basically admitted on tape that he did take the money. So that's been a problem. But the fact that it's been thrown out now, it did affect the election. But Sarah Palin did say that we needed a new election here in Alaska, a fair one. And she released that on her Sarah PAC letterhead, basically. And it is a state matter because it cost, over $1 million for us to have an election here in the state. So, it just depends on the day. Sarah Palin is very, very erratic right now. The wheels are coming off of the Sarah Palin bus. And
Sarah PAC, to be clear, is the political action committee she might use to essentially transition into a race for president in 2012 if she wants. But in any case, Alaska Democrats today held a press conference blasting her for traveling to Indiana. Is she using this dinner as a way to escape the stimulus debate? And why attend this dinner and not the GOP's Senate-House dinner with more national prominence?
Well, I'm not really sure why Sarah Palin does what Sarah Palin does. I would just say that, her political ambition combined with her intelligence is much like putting a jet engine on a golf cart. You don't know where it's going to end up. There's a lot of horsepower, but not a lot of steering capabilities. So, she did say that she could not possibly go to this GOP dinner because she needed to pay attention to state business. Well, that is in June. I believe it's June 8th. And the Senate, the House, the entire legislature is in recess at that point. Yet she's choosing to go and speak basically in a pandering move to her base, an anti-choice group. And she's doing that during the last 72 hours of a session, which right now is so crucial to Alaskans. We have stimulus money to debate whether we're going to reject it, accept it, how we're going to deal with that. And there's so many issues important to Alaskans that are being neglected for her political pandering for what I'm guessing is her 2012 run.
Finally, switching gears, the governor's sister-in-law, Diana Palin, was indicted today by a grand jury for burglary, theft, and trespass charges. What impact is this having on the governor's office, if any?
Well, I think everyone has had people in their family, my family is no different, that have made choices that hurt them and embarrass their family. And not everybody's family, of course, when the mistakes are made, makes national news. And I'm hoping that Sarah Palin's family rally around her sister-in-law and give her the support she needs to do the right thing and to take responsibility for the choices she made. I think that's really important to have when you have made bad choices in your family. But unfortunately, what I think this whole story is doing is that it's a distraction. It's a terrible distraction from state business and hurting Alaskans.
Shannon Moore, progressive talk show host and blogger. And Shannon, thanks for your time tonight.
My pleasure. Thanks, David.